use, maintenance, and disposal. Okay? So think when you buy something, first you buy it, right? Then whatever you buy is delivered. You get it. Once you get it, well, you use it. After you use it, well, you need things to keep it working. Obviously, maybe it may be broken, or maybe you drop it. You need maintenance, fix it. And obviously, at the end of the life of the product, well, you need to throw it, disposal. How do you do it? Please close the door. Thank you. Again, for sure you have been through anyway, in your book you have this table. I forgot what page. 8. Okay, 8, yes. So there we have the example of the Toyota Prius vehicle. You know Prius? Yeah. Yes, small compact car. So they cross again the stages with the utility levels. Again, purchase, delivery, use, supplements, maintenance, disposal, customer productivity, simplicity, convenience, risk, fun image, and environmental friendliness. Close the door. Oh no, it's wrong. Okay, anyway. So, for example, so these are, think about it like opportunities for the company to sell. So, if we think about purchase, what I want to purchase, the company has to think about customer productivity. What does he or she want? Price of the Prius slightly higher than comparable non-hybrid models. So obviously they're going to think about this. If we think about, let's say, the use and the convenience, doesn't have to be plugged into an electrical outlet. Okay, so each square gives you an opportunity to add value to the customer. That's the main idea of this map. So again, each cell provides an opportunity to offer new value proposition to a customer, a reason why. And you know, we as customers, we like to ask things about products before we buy it. So the company should be able to identify this map so they can trade these sellers so they can address and add value to the product. So, a new technology might offer a change in value in a single cell or in a combination of cells of the map. So this model is designed with emphasis on consumer products. But the mapping principle can be easily adapted to emphasize industrial products or different aspects of the buyer utility. For example, instead of having a single entry for customer productivity, well, the map could have more rows for several dimensions of productivity, such as speed, efficiency, scalability, reliability. So it's not just limited. You can use this type of map for production to assess. Again, the map provides a guide for managers to consider multiple dimensions of technological value and multiple stages of the customer experience. Okay? Think about how can we make a new product? What value can we give to the customers? Well, easy. You can make this map. Fill in the cells, and you get your answer. Again, like I told you before, the book gives you the tool, but it's not set on stone. You can play with it. You can add, you can remove. The tools are flexible. So finally, the new benefits have to be considered with respect to the cost to the customer of obtaining or using the technology. Now this is important, guys. It is the ratio of benefits to cost that determines value. So what's value? What's value? Ratio of benefits against cost. That's value. When you think about buying something, you just don't buy it just because you can buy it. You buy it because you're getting benefits. And the more benefits you get, it has more value for you. Everybody follows? Is that clear? Maybe this can be a test question. Define value. Because this is important for you as managers, future managers, to understand. The more benefits against the cost, that's value. So if you have something very expensive that offers little benefits, people will not find the value in it. And therefore, you will not sell. Now, that's for standalone. Now we go to network externality value. In industries characterized by network externalities, the value of technology innovation to users will be function not only of its standalone benefits and costs, so the value changes. Also the value created by the size of its install base and availability to complementary goods. Okay? Think about if you have, let's think. What do we think? Something easy. Talking about technology. Okay, think about phones, smartphones. Think about, I don't know, somewhere in the countryside. Think somewhere farther than Dallas. You know Dallas, right? Okay, think you go 50 kilometers farther in Dallas. Okay? Now, think about your phone. Think about your, the signal, the bars. Do you think you will have a lot of bars there? Signal for your phone? Signal coverage? Maybe not. Everybody follows? And? Yes? You know your phone, right? You know the bars, right? And one bar is very poor. Okay? So think about the network. Think about the network of what? Antennas. Remember, the antennas give the coverage. Yes? The more the antennas, the better the coverage. For example, here in the city, main cities, there's a lot of antennas everywhere. So the connectivity is high. But in the countryside, it's low. So think, how many users do you think is there after Dallas? Maybe 100? Maybe 50? Maybe some houses here and there, some big farms. Okay? So you have low install base in the countryside. And therefore, the internet is less. Maybe it's not 5G, maybe it's 3G. Slower. Okay? So again, it's not just the benefit of the phone that it has 5G, high Wi-Fi 6, super fast, but also the value created by the size of install base in the area and the complementary goods available. So it doesn't matter if you have the iPhone 20 Max Mega Pro Ultra, but if there is no internet connection, it's nothing. So it lacks the value. It drops the value. You follow? Okay. So, we got another graphic there. We got the first one, A. We got technological utility, install base, complementary goods, and that gives us value. The combined value of the standalone, install base, and complementary goods offered by existing technology. Now, what happens is there is a new player, and they make their own new product. In this case, they don't have an install base, they don't have complementary goods, they depend exclusively only on the value of its standalone utility. And it has to be, if you want to have a margin of value, it has to be much better than what is already available in the market. But we have a case C, new technology that is compatible with existing technologies, install base, and complementary goods. So, the new technological utility can use the install base and can use the complementary goods available. That's why we have, for one service, we have a variety of products from different brands. So they can take advantage of the already value in the network. Everybody follows? Hurry up. So, it is not enough for a new technology standalone utility to exceed that of the current standard. It must be also capable of offering greater overall value. Again, for new technology to compete, they must be so great, so amazing, that would eclipse the combined value of an existing technology, install base, and complementary goods. Now, for that to happen, it has to be like a super amazing product, which very rarely happens. In some cases, the new technologies may be made compatible with existing technologies, install base, and complementary goods. In the book, they mention the CDs, only that, maybe that except is a little bit old, because everybody streams music now. So they talk about how the new CD technology with the super audio is compatible to use the previous CDs, so it still retains the old value. I think another better example would be like, think about like PlayStation games. You have PlayStation 5, you can play PlayStation 4. So you just not only have the new games, you can also play the old games. Something like that. So, when users are comparing the value of a new technology to an existing technology, they are weighing a combination of objective information. I don't know, how to close the door? You feel about it? Unless you have maybe like a rope or a piece of thread. Okay. So again, we're weighing the combination of objective information, actual benefits, subjective information, perceived benefits, and expectations for the future, anticipated benefits. Thus, each of the primary value components also have corresponding perceived or anticipated value components. For instance, a perceived install base may greatly exceed actual install base, or customers may expect that technology will eventually have a much larger install base than the competitors. And thus, the value accrued for the technology's install base is expected to grow much larger than it's currently. Again, these are projections, and depending on the market, on the product, the price point, you can guess how many people are going to buy, how much is going to be the install base. But then again, there is no perfect math. So one thing is proportional, okay, from what it is now, what people think, it is and what it's going to be. But what happened? Usually we make it disproportional. We balloon it. So we think the install base will be much bigger as perceived and as anticipated. Now, this is a gamble. It's maybe 50-50. And there is no formula to guess. Maybe the conditions are perfect. People like the product. It's cheap. The market is open. And then people buy and you have a big install base. Or maybe the market, like for example right now, there is a war, the price of the oil, everything is stuck, it's very difficult. So you cannot go so high. You have to make it a little bit more proportional. Okay? So this, remember, being a manager, you have to manage many variables. And usually those variables are highly unknown, which means they are high risk. So you need to ponder your numbers proportionally instead of disproportionately. So again, firms can take advantage of the fact that users rely on both objective and subjective information in assessing the combined value offered by the new technology. Think about the psychology, marketing. For example, even a technology with a small install base can achieve a relatively large mind share through heavy advertisement, okay, by its backers. And nowadays, not just marketing, now we have the influencers, okay? All those TikTokers and streamers and YouTubers, okay? Producers can also shape users' expectations of future install base and availability of complements through announcements of pre-orders, licensing agreements, distribution arrangements. Okay? I'm not sure in Vietnam pre-orders are very popular. But it happens, for example, for the new iPhone, for the new Galaxy. Okay, usually they open pre-orders. That's to create expectation. Okay? And like I mentioned before with the Apple Air, the virtual reality headset, they create a lot of expectation. They invited influencers. There was a big marketing campaign. But it didn't work because it was too expensive. So after 1 month, it dropped. So since the perceived or expected install base may drive subsequent adoptions, a large perceived or expected install base can lead to a large actual install base, but not always. Such a tactic also underlines the use of vaporware. Products that are not on the market and may not even exist, but they are advertised. Okay? Let's check this again. Vaporware. Products that are not actually in the market and may not even exist, but are advertised. One example, back in the day, the Cybertruck, right? From Tesla. It was heavily advertised that they were going to make it, and it's coming, and it delayed for many, like 2 or 3 years, I think, it delayed. That was considered vaporware. And they keep saying, no, wait for us, don't worry, it's coming. Well, lucky it came. Now we have the robots. And Tesla and Elon Musk advertise the robot Optimus. You know Optimus? Yes. Like a ironic joke. You know Optimus? No? You don't know Optimus? Terrible. No, it's a full body robot. It's a full body robot. They even open food. Maybe should be better, easier if I can show it to you real quick.
but robot Optimus has once again taken center.
So that's the one they showed it last year. They made an event in Silicon Valley. They showcased him. He used AI. He's autonomous. The first time they showed, they thought there was a person inside of it, like cosplay. But no, it's a full robot. And Tesla, they have a diner, and they put the robot to work in the diner.
Expected reason. In a recent video shared by Elon Musk, Optimus is seen calmly serving popcorn at the soft opening of the Tesla diner in Los Angeles. With deliberate precision, the robot fills a paper bag with popcorn, hands it to a customer, and even throws in a friendly thumbs up. While the gesture may seem simple, it represents a major leap in robotics, demonstrating fine motor skills, controlled movement, and basic human interaction. Musk's caption: "This will become normal in a few years." Although playful on the surface, this popcorn demo is a serious signal of what's coming. Optimus is designed as a general-purpose robot, built to perform tasks ranging from folding laundry to walking dogs, and yes, even cooking. What we saw at the Tesla diner was a robot confidently executing a hospitality job in a real-world setting without spilling a single kernel. It's a polished display of Tesla's continued focus on refining robotic precision, stability, and responsiveness. The Tesla Diner Experience. Located on the iconic Route 66 in Hollywood, the Tesla Diner blends retro charm with futuristic tech. And now, it has a literal robot serving snacks. The environment itself, Part 9.
Okay. If you're curious, you can search it, Tesla Diner. But then again, it's still vaporware. It's not available. It's going to cost around $30,000 to $50,000 for one robot. In Dong, lot. Let's see, 250, like maybe more than 1 billion. Almost 1 billion, yes. 1 billion, almost 1 billion. 1 billion, one robot. Yes, look, it's the proof of the concept that it can, the precision, okay? It will not scratch the bag, it will not drop the popcorn. So that's what they are selling. Yes, pouring popcorn to a bag, it sounds silly, but the skill for a robot is impressive. They make other tests like handle eggs, grab an egg, crack it, and put it into the pan. It sounds silly, but it requires a lot of math precision. Okay, anyway, but we're talking about vaporware products that are not in the market, but they are advertised, heavily advertised as the new thing, and may or may not become a product in the future. So, by building the impression among customers, firms can prompt rapid adoption of the product when it's actually available. Because they hype, you know the word, right? Hype. They hype the product, and then, because everybody's so eager, it will have rapid adoption, hopefully, if the price is right. Also, vaporware may be also able to buy the firm's valuable time in bringing its product to market. If other vendors beat the firm to market, and the firm fears that the customers may select a dominant design before its offering is introduced, they can use vaporware to attempt to influence customers to delay the purchase until the firm's product is available. So maybe another company comes, drop the robot, but then Tesla will say, no, wait, that doesn't work. Mine is working. Just wait me 6 months, and I will sell it. Okay? And then they will showcase. Think about every year, Samsung and Apple, they fight. Okay, don't buy Galaxy. Wait, here, I show you what's the new iPhone. And then Samsung will do the same. Hey, don't look there. Look at my presentation. It's better for me. Okay, so they try to delay the purchase. Now, competing for the design dominance in markets with network externalities. So, when an industry has network externalities, the value of a good to a user increases with the number of other users in the same or similar goods. However, it's rare that the value goes up linearly. And the way it behaves is like the S shape, the S curve. It will not grow straight up. Initially, the benefits may increase slow. From the standalone functionality of the technology point, base level of technological utility or value, you shift entirely the graph up. And this is because rather than later, when two technologies that have different base levels of technological utility are considered. And in there you got 2. Page 85. So again, the S curve, it will follow you through your working life as manager. So, install base means people with our product and the value. So at the beginning, because it's a new product, not everybody's willing to buy it. But some people will try it. And these people will start to make hype, sharing reviews, comments, videos, talking to friends. And then suddenly, if the market starts to grow, with decreased value. Obviously, there is a limit. Okay? The value grew from network externalities. Remember, nothing will improve forever. It will reach a limit. Now, what happens if there is already a tech value? If it's already well known in the market, so I can take advantage of that added value and start stronger my S curve. Is this clear? Be sure you get these different S curves. There are different S curves for different cases. And maybe in the test I will give you an S curve and I will ask you to explain me this S curve. So you need to be clear which S curve is which based on the variables. So, when two technologies compete for dominance, customers will compare the overall value yield or expected from each technology. However, if both technologies earn similar network externalities returns to market share, but one technology offers greater standalone utility, the difference point will be shifted in its favor. And this is the indifference point. Here is 50-50. If they share the same network externalities and they share the same value to users, it will be a 50-50 market. But if the tech value of A is different and value B is higher, well, the difference point will be 60-40. So, technology B offers a greater level of standalone technological utility, shifting its overall value curve up. Technology A must have greater than 60% of the market share for A to offer more overall value that be? That's why now these phones are overpacked of features. And we talked before, we don't even really use all the features in the phone because they keep putting things that we don't use, but we perceive as added value. Any questions? So, network externality value is fully tapped at minority market share levels. Okay? So, in this case, customers may face a relatively large indifference region within which neither technology clearly dominates. Such markets may not experience great pressure to select a single dominant design. Two or more platforms may successfully coexist. So again, think about Apple and Samsung. Nowadays, they don't offer anything new. Basically, you can choose whatever phone, and there is no real value. You get almost the same experience, the same things. So, are winner-take-all markets good for consumers? Well, traditional economics has emphasized the consumer welfare benefits of competitive markets. That's what we are taught. The more the competition, the better for the consumer because we get lower prices. However, increasing returns make this a complicated issue. Some analysts argue that Microsoft have clearly engaged in anti-competitive behavior and had damaged consumers in its quest to dominate the personal computer operating system market, as we know, Windows. Others argue that, well, Microsoft did nothing wrong, they behaved properly, and that its overwhelming share of the personal computer operating system market was good for us, since it created greater compatibility among computers and more software applications. So, how does a regulatory body, as a government, decide when a firm has become too dominant? How to control them. So, network externality returns refers to the value customers obtain as a large portion of the market adopts the same good. For example, there is likely to be greater availability of complementary goods, more compatibility among users, and more revenues can be channeled into further developing of technology. Thank you. Nice job. Monopoly costs. Oh, you know monopolies, right? Guys, you know monopolies? Not the game. Not the board game. They refer to the cost users bear as a large portion of the market adopts the same good. For example, a monopolist may charge higher prices, there may be less product variety, and innovation in alternative technologies may be stifled, stopped, no more. Because I dominate and I choose what the market buys. Network externality returns to market share often exhibit the S shape described in the previous section. Monopoly costs the market share, however, are often considered to be exponentially increasing. And that's when we got this other type of S curve. So, again, this is our traditional S curve when we have a tech value accrued by consumers from network externalities for technology A. But what happens in the case of the monopoly? There is no competition. So they don't need to add a tech value because they are the only players. So they can go up, and increase the cost to consumers as technology A gains the market share. And there's basically no way to stop. That's when governments regulatory institutions have to come and put the brakes, because otherwise it's just exponential. Obviously, there will be a point where if they increase, no one will buy, but they can play with the price point. Again, a firm can choose not to exploit monopoly power, thus flattening the monopoly cost curve. When they find a sweet spot where people will agree to pay, that's where the monopoly S-curve will flat out. One of the most obvious assertions of monopoly power is typically exhibited in the price charged for a good. The firm may choose not to charge a maximum price that customers will be willing to pay for a good. They can also assert its monopoly power in most subtle ways, controlling the evolution of the industry through selective aiding. Some suppliers are complementers more than others, and many people argue that this is a respect. Any questions about network externalities? Network value? Okay, next, modularity and platform competition. So, many industries, the value of the product is related to the number and quantity of complements available to it. Think about the smartphone. It is only as good as the applications available. And a music streaming service is only as valuable as the number and the quality of the music titles it offers. That's where you give the value to the platform. So in markets like this, rather than having one single firm produce both the platform, for example, the smartphone, and all the complements, applications, industry players will instead use modularity to create a platform ecosystem where many different firms contribute to the product system. Okay? So think about Google. Well, they have the Pixel phone, they make a phone. They made the Android system, and of course they make apps. Gmail, Google Drive, Maps, and so on. But that's not enough. They need to open the platform so other players can come and support the platform. That's where Apple had trouble before. They control too much the iPhone. They didn't allow too many players. And they have a high level for quality. As for Android, they didn't care too much about quality. That's why there are many apps and hackers in Android. Oh, that's another story. So, what's modularity? The degree to which a system's components can be separated and recombined. That's modularity. System components that can be separated and recombined. For example, the most common example is a computer. It's a bundle of components that includes microprocessor, monitor, keyboard, and more. Some of these components can be bought separately. You can buy the pieces. You can build your own computer. You can choose how much memory RAM, how much hard drive disk space you want. Type of Wi-Fi, you want DVD player, no DVD player, if you want big screen, small screen, gaming keyboard, gaming mouse, whatever you want, you can buy the pieces and assemble it by yourself. Now think about the monitor. Obviously, we cannot build the monitor. Okay? We already buy it assembled as users. Okay? I'm talking about users. But companies, they can make it modular. Okay? Remember, the monitor includes circuitry, plastic housing, power input, and so on. Most of these are not sold separately to the end user, but they may be mixed and matched by the manufacturer to achieve different end products. Okay? So the manufacturer can make it modular for their convenience. And then that's why you have different size screens, HD, Full HD, 2K, 4K, 8K. And now they have the megahertz, 60, 144, 240. Yes. HDR. So, products may be made increasingly modular both by expanding the range of compatible components, increasing the range of possible configurations, and by uncouplling integrated functions within components, making the product modular at a finer level. So, there are three cases you have in your book, page 89. A, traditional integrated product bundle. Provider tries to meet the buyer's needs itself, no customization, no external compatibility, it's a closed system. In this example, they give the Nokia E90. So they control everything. The graphics, the micro, the RAM, games, everything. This phone has no app store. So it's a closed system. Now in the case B, product bundle with third-party complements, compatibility with third-party choices expands options to customers. Now think about the iPhone. They still control the iPhone software, processor, RAM, games, graphics, but they open the App Store. So third parties can add apps, but not change the system. How many companies make iPhones? Only one. iPhone, Apple. Yes? So they control, but they open to add some complementaries. In the case C, the product bundle with third-party components and complements. Customer has even greater range of configuration choices. And this is where Android comes in. Okay? Even though they control graphics, microprocessors, basic software, basic games, basic RAMs, other parties they can change. Remember, Google makes Pixel, but anybody can make an Android phone. Oppo, Xiaomi, Galaxy, Samsung, okay? And they can change the RAM. They put more RAM, better graphics, because now everybody cares about games. And they still can add apps and games. It's more flexible. Anybody can make an Android phone. Even Bing Group, they have the Android phone, right? Some years ago. Bing phone, right? Bing phone. Bing Smart, right? Yes. Because they make it flexible. So everybody follows? Remember, we're talking about companies. And of course, more options for customers. So, tightly integrated non-modular product systems and modular systems have different kind of advantages. A tightly integrated product system may have components that are customized to work together, which may enable a level of performance that more standardized components cannot achieve. Because they control everything. They can maximize it. The producer of a tightly integrated system also has more control over the end product, which can enable them to better monitor quality and reliability. Now, this is the best example again. For years, this was the reason why Steve Jobs gave for not making Apple computers as modular as Windows-based computers. believe that by controlling all the components and most of the software, Apple computers can achieve greater functionality and be more reliable. And it came true. Everybody knows the MacBook Pro, right? MacBooks. Yes. Any Mac you buy, for sure, is high quality, very efficient, very reliable. It's a powerhouse. But what happened? They can control the price point, and they're so expensive. So are you willing to pay? An integrated product may also be more attractive to a customer that does not want to choose or assemble components themselves. Think about people simple-minded. They don't want to ask too much. Okay? You know, when you go here to, let's say, phone booth, and they will ask how much memory you want. Do you want a graphic card? Do you want more hard drive space? Maybe you don't know anything, or maybe your mom, your dad, I just want a laptop. I don't care, I don't know. So, by choosing an integrated, like, okay, a MacBook, I know that's good. I don't need to think. I don't need to think if it's Intel 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't need to care. Apple, that's good. Okay? So that's why you make it attractive. But again, you have to pay the price. Modular products, on the other hand, can offer more choices over function, design, scale, other features, enabling customers to choose a product that comes closely to their needs and their preferences. It's more flexible. And second, because components are reused in different combinations, this can achieve product variety while still allowing scale economies in manufacturing individual components. This is known as economies of substitution. So there is no right way to do business. It's just how much you commit to it. And that commitment can make you very successful or a very big failure. Now, that's modularity. Now, talking about platform ecosystems. In the platform ecosystem, some core parts of the product, such as video game consoles or music streaming services, mediate the relationship between the wide range of components or complements, such as video games, the music, and prospective end users. So, the rise of internet and digitalization, everything is digital now, has facilitated the reorganization of many industries around platforms and has transformed many firms into either platform sponsors or producers of complementary goods for a platform ecosystem. So, think systems like iOS, Android, ride-hailing services, Uber, Lyft, Grab, social networks such as Facebook, WeChat, and Zalo in Vietnam, music video streams, Spotify, Netflix, Tencent Video are but a few examples of industries where platforms have become dominant business models, and firms that successfully operate these platforms serve million end users. So they are using the internet as their platform. No internet, these companies don't exist. These business models, they don't exist. They depend on the internet platform to survive. Because it is overall appeal of the ecosystem that attracts end users on the platform. The success of individual members depends at least in part upon the success of other members of the ecosystem, even those with which they may have simultaneously competing. So the more users, the more benefits. Furthermore, in many platforms, there are switching costs to make it difficult or costly to change ecosystems. Platforms and their complements often make investments in co-specialization, exclusivity agreements that bind them into the speaker, long-term relationships that the market contract use. In other words, we talked about this like last time. If we think about Netflix and HBO, and you think Netflix, they have Stranger Things, and if you want to watch Stranger Things, you have to have the Netflix subscription. But then HBO has Game of Thrones. So do you change? Do you keep both? But it's more expensive. So how to choose? So that's the cost of changing. Switching costs. So, before we have pure integration, combination determined by producer, high cost specialization, producer controls everything. On the other hand, we have pure modularity, more choice and configurations, no specialization, quality and compatibility may be uncertain, and you used to choose which one of both you want. But now because we have platform ecosystems, well, third-party components, they could go both ways. Think, you have, let's say, Spotify in Apple, and you have Spotify in Android. You have Netflix in Apple, you have Netflix in Android. Okay? So they use the platform. Components and complements curated by platform sponsor, choice and reconfigurability, but shepherded by platform sponsor and some core specialization. So they play in the middle ground. So think is how to access most of the install base in both types of markets. And what's the common denominator? What will be the common denominator? What will be the common denominator for the platforms? What's the common denominator between pure integration and pure modularity? Any idea? Internet. That's the common denominator. That's where the platforms are really off. Remember, the app does give you access, but the music is not in your phone, right? The movies are not in your phone. The movies and the music is in the cloud. How do you access? Through internet. You can have the app, but if you don't have internet, it doesn't work. Everybody follows? I hope so. So, platforms will be more valuable than tightly integrated products when customers are diverse and want more choices than a single firm can provide. Third-party options are diverse and high quality. When compatibility with third-party products can be made seamless without integration. And when the platform sponsor is powerful enough that it can retain control over quality and their overall product architecture without producing new components itself. Okay? This is when the platform will be more valuable than the system. On the other hand, platform will be more valuable than purely modular when the complements are non-routine purchases with uncertainty, and though the customer prefers to have some shepherding about the platform sponsor. With some integration between the platform and its complements provides performance advantages, and or when important components of the ecosystem require subsidization. For example, the market is unlikely to provide all the complements the end user needs at an adequate quality or value. That's when you opt for the platform. And the book offers video game systems are an example of platform ecosystems where the consoles need to sell, they need high quality games. Since it's difficult to, how can you tell a company make games to my game console that is not in the market? It's very difficult. Okay? So what they need to do? They must produce games themselves to ensure high quality games are available when the console launches. On the other hand, end users, they want more games than just produced by the console producer. So So console producers like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo also license third-party developers to produce games for their consoles. So they will carefully screen the licensed games for quality and compatibility, and they may require the game developers to sign exclusivity agreements or customize the games for the console. Think about, maybe you know Final Fantasy. Usually they were exclusive of PlayStation, but recently they start to go multi-platform because they signed exclusivity agreement with Sony. The console maker may also manage the end user's awareness and perception of games by giving best of awards. So they will make these events, maybe you know the Game Awards, Summerfest, Game of the Year, yes. So they will try to hype, okay, particular games, not all of them, some of them, by bundling games in the console, at point of purchase, prepare particular games in marketing, okay, try to make noise. These strategies will enable the console producer to actively manage the overall value created by its ecosystem. Any questions? Yes? What? Again, this is just an example, okay? About using a platform ecosystem. So this is what? Chapter 4. Questions? No? Okay, so we go for the summary. They have numbers. You help me? You have a number there? What? No, yes, it's okay. Who's this phone? Why are you putting the wrong number? What number you want? Please, don't put in the wrong number. Otherwise, you're going to be absent. And, why you cut the head? It's yours, you Anne. Why? For the boyfriend? Ah, it's you. How's your brother? How is your brother? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Aha, 21. Whose phone is this? iPhone. No one? I can throw it? No? No one? We have a ghost? Ghost student? No one for real? Oops. 21. Whose number? Wing who no? Where is he or she? Where is he? So why this phone is in 21? So he came, put the phone and left? Two 22s, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Yes. Remember, guys, my class is a little bit boring. I like to count. I love numbers. I love to count my students. So if you're missing and you put your phone and you think you're smarter than me, you are wrong. Hey, so who got the paper for 21? There should be 21. The paper? Who got it? I give it to you. And I give you 1 to 20, 1 to 30. Who got it? Who got the paper for number 21? Come on, it cannot disappear. Who? Why don't you write the paper? That's going to be your job with your managers. How you control your employees. how you keep them intact. down, calm down. Yes, I want to start the first part of chapter 5. Time is money. Okay, calm down. Keep the paper. Keep the paper. Because chapter 5 is shorter, is easier. So I just wanted to introduce it before the break. 15 minutes, so you just have a big idea. After the break, we finish, and I think we have enough time for chapter 5 summary today. So you can do it in the same paper. If you need more, I have more. No problem. Okay, so we jump to chapter 5. Remember, that's why I told you I don't like these 9 weeks, because then for this class we have to smash a lot of content very fast. And today we skip the study case because we're not going to have enough time. So the overview, first before is timing of entry. Timing of entry we got our product, when is the best time to put it into the market? That's timing of entry. So overview, technology that is adopted earlier than others may create advantages, such as greater funds to invest in improving the technology, greater availability of complementary goods, and less customer indecision. If we are the first one in the market, and we are the only option, well, people have no other option than buy from us. On the other hand, the same factors that cause increased adoption may make very early technologies unattractive. If there are few users of the technology or availability of complementary goods is poor, the technology may fail to attract customers. And again, the most recent example, Apple Vision. It failed. Okay? Few users, no apps, it failed. It was too early. The market was not ready. It was not willing to pay that high price. A number of other first mover advantages and disadvantages can shape how timing of entry is related to probability of success. Entrants are often divided into 3 categories. First movers or pioneers, which are the first to sell in a new product or service category. Early followers, also called early leaders, which are early to the market but not first. And late entrants, which enter the market when or after the product begins to penetrate the mass market. Okay, so let's think about, if we talk about cell phones, think about Nokia, think about BlackBerry. Those were the first movers into an all-phone solution. And it was successful until early follower iPhone came in. And they make it better. And then we can think about Samsung coming after as a late entrant, when the product begins to penetrate. And touchscreen was a yes, go. It works and people like it. So I joined the market. Okay? Everybody follows? This is very important. First movers, early followers, late entrants. So, some studies that compare early entrants with late entrants find that early entrants have higher returns in survival rates. Early entrants, remember, early followers, not the first movers. What happened to BlackBerry? Now, basically. Okay? So you don't want to be the first, you don't want to be the last. You want to be early. How to know? It's impossible. You need to see how the market behaves. So, however, other research has suggested the first firm to market is often the first to fail, causing early followers to leave behind the first movers. Still, other research mentions the higher returns of being the first mover typically offset the survival risk. A number of factors influence how timing of entry affects the firm's survival and profits. So let's start with advantages. First mover advantages. First, brand loyalty and technological leadership. Again, think about Apple. How many part of the market is loyal? They will always buy Apple products. And obviously, Apple is a reference about technology. So, the company that introduces a new technology may earn long-lasting reputation as a leader in that technology domain. Such a reputation can help sustain the company's image, brand loyalty, market share, even after competitors have introduced comparable products. Think about big brands. Think about Sony. You know if you buy something Sony is good. You don't even need to search. Okay? The organization's position as technology leader also enables it to shape customer expectations about the technology's form, features, pricing, and other characteristics. Because you are settled in people's minds. So, by the time the later entrants come into the market, customer requirements may be well established. If aspects that customers have come to expect in technology are difficult for competitors to imitate, being the technology leader can produce sustained monopoly rights. If they cannot copy your technology, well, you're winning the game. That's why Apple lasted so long. It was alone in the top until Samsung came and started to challenge that position. And now, of course, there are other brands, but they are already well positioned in the customer's mindset. Monopoly rents are the additional rents or returns, either higher revenues or lower costs a firm can make from being a monopolist, such as the ability to set high prices and the ability to lower costs through great bargaining power over suppliers. Think when the first iPhone was $1,000. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it myself. And many thought people will back up, will move away, will not buy it, it's too expensive. And the opposite happened. It was a big success. And everybody followed. Preemption of scarce assets. Firms that enter the market early can capture early limited resources, such as key locations, government permits, access to distribution channels, relationship with suppliers. Think right now, what's the big crisis right now talking about technology? What's the big crisis we have? Talking about technology. But which technology we're talking about? Yes, but something else. No, we got over chips already. Not anymore. Chips is okay now. Come on, guys, you have to watch the news. Memory RAM, or RAM memory. Relationship with suppliers. So right now, you know, the big boom is AI. And AI is memory hungry. In order for your ChatGPT, your Gemini, I don't know, any AI you use, in order for them to use for type a question and it to answer back in its memory, a lot of memory RAM to think. And that became now a scarce asset. You know scarce? You know this word? No, not scared. Scarce. Huh? Short in supply. Short in supply, not a lot. So now, if you want to buy a computer or a phone or a tablet, its price went up because of the scarce of memory RAM. Because all these big tech giants are getting everything for their servers. This happened some years ago with Bitcoin. Maybe you heard about the Bitcoin server farms. They bought all these video game graphic cards, NVIDIA, because the processing power is faster. So they got all of them, making gaming very expensive. They have access to distribution channels. They get key locations, government permits, etc. So being the first is catching the market. Also, exploiting buyers' switching costs. Once buyers have adopted a good, they often face costs to switch to another good. The initial cost of the good is itself a switching cost, as if the cost of complements purchase for the good. So, if you buy the iPhone, and then you have the new Galaxy, and you like it, and let's say it's better, but you already bought the iPhone. Are you going to pay more money? You already invested in the iPhone. Probably not. So you have a switching cost there. If you're the first one to sell, the customer will be in a position that it will not change. Maybe some, but not everybody. The initial cost of the good itself is a switching cost as the cost of complements. If a product is complex, buyers must spend time in becoming familiar with its operation. This time investment becomes a switching cost that deters the buyer from switching to a different product. Once you get used and learn how to use a product, and they tell you, okay, this one is better, but you need to learn how to use it. Some people say, no, I'm okay, I don't care. I'm okay. If the buyers face switching costs, the firm that captures customers early may be able to keep those customers. Even if technologies with superior value proposition are introduced later. Because people will not. We come to a very sweet spot, comfort zone, where we are happy with what we have. And it doesn't matter, we don't need more. We are happy like this. Reaping increasing returns advantages. Pressures encouraging adoption of a dominant design. The timing of a firm's investment in a new technology development may be particularly critical to its probability of success. A technology that is adopted early may rise in market power through self-reinforcing positive feedback mechanisms, culminating in its entrenchment as the dominant design. Think about if you're the only one and people like your product, you're going to build an install base and good reviews. And remember, now everything is on social media. Okay? So if there is a positive buzz about your product, positive feedback, okay, then this will create that your product becomes a dominant design. Now, there's a problem today. You have heard about bots. Bots, B-O-T-S. Yeah, some are the chatbots, yes. But it happened here in Vietnam a lot. In Shopee, think about Shopee. I guess everybody uses Shopee. There are fake reviews. Fake reviews done by bots. Okay, they will put 5 stars and some random good comment, whatever, and that's giving a self-reinforcing positive feedback, which is illegal. Okay, it's illegal because there are fake reviews, but they are trying to generate buzz. Of course, there are ways to control, but that should be the platform doing that control. Because what happens? Sometimes when you want to buy something, you check the reviews, what people comment. Of course, one way to control is if you want to review, you should have purchases. So you cannot just put any random review. For example, that's one control. Okay, let's stop here. Let's go for the break. So we start later with the disadvantages. Okay. 50 minutes.
Nhỏ nó như Quỳnh mà lấy lộn đứa rồi.
Này của Quỳnh đúng không?
Ừ. Mình không nhớ nữa. Là 32 nó mất mẹ rồi. Này con định rồi, vậy con Thư đâu?
Ủa Thư đâu?
Thư đâu? 32 này.
Thư đâu?
Thầy Thư đâu?
Giấu rồi.
Ê, bạn Thư đâu?
Cái hồn hay. Dữ à? Quay 100.000 đi.
Ê, đi làm đi đâu? Trời ơi, má. Về đọc số 32 rồi luôn, cũng mơ luôn.
Mày biết lâu không vậy?
Nhiều cái sông đáy tại chỗ.
Mình nghĩ hôm nay giảng xong chép nào không?
Hết, chấp năm chút xíu à.
Thấy luôn hả?
Dời bò là cái gì ta?
Bỏ cái